A trade is coming. The Knicks are having conversations with multiple teams about trading Pacome Dadiet. An NBA insider has confirmed Pacome Dadiet has the most value out of any of the young Knick players. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. This episode is presented by FanDuel. If you're enjoying the content, please hit that subscribe button and have notifications turned on so you don't miss any new content. And now, let's get started. Trade incoming. For the last few weeks, we have heard the exact same thing. The New York Knicks want to keep two veteran players on this team, but the only way to do that is for the Knicks to make a trade. Even today, we received confirmation on which veteran players are the frontrunners to make this team. Shout out to James L. Edwards, an NBA insider with The Athletic, for giving us this following information. According to him, before a basketball has even been dribbled in front of the public, the Knicks have one roster spot open with veterans Landry Shamet, Malcolm Brogdon, and Garrison Matthews, all of whom are on non-guaranteed contracts, and they are the front runners to fill that open roster spot. However, per league sources, New York is leaning toward keeping two of the aforementioned vets, with Landry Shamet and Malcolm Brogdon leading the way. In order to keep two veterans, though, the Knicks must make a trade. It's clear Landry Shamet and Malcolm Brogdon will be on this team on opening night. That means the Knicks will be making a trade. And the player that the Knicks will be trading is Pacome Dadiet. The Knicks are already having discussions about trading Pacome Dadiet with multiple teams. Shout out to James L. Edwards with The Athletic for giving us this following information. According to him, per multiple league sources, the Knicks have had conversations with teams about Pacome Dadiet. The 20-year-old Frenchman is New York's most intriguing prospect, even if he still has a ways to go to be a regular contributor. For what it's worth, I've also heard that Pacome Dadiet has had a good summer behind the scenes and has made it harder for New York to potentially trade him. Now hold on, wait a second. That is very interesting there. As James L. Edwards just stated, the Knicks are having conversations with multiple teams about Pacome Dadiet, potentially trading him. But also, what was very interesting is that New York potentially doesn't want to trade him because of the improvements behind the scenes that he has made this offseason during the summer. That means potentially his shooting has gotten a lot better. And if it has, then maybe the Knicks do not want to trade Pacome Dadiet. But the Knicks want to keep two veteran players on this team. And if they want to do that, they have to trade one of the young Knick players. And clearly, Pacome Dadiet, he's the front runner to be traded by this Knicks team. Let's continue here. Dadiet is 6'8", has had some good defensive glimpses in his very limited time. And while his three-point shooting hasn't yet translated either in the NBA or G League, the foundation for his jump shot is encouraging. This next part is very important. If New York were going to move on from one of its young Knick players, Pacome Dadiet would be the most likely to get a worthwhile return. I can't imagine it would be for more than a second-round pick or two. New York may not want to trade Pacome Dadiet, but if they do trade Dadiet, that's how they keep two veteran players on this team. And I said it a number of times before in the past, but let me say it again. Trading Pacome Dadiet presents the New York Knicks with the easiest pathway to keep two veteran players and also allow them to keep their flexibility throughout the regular season. And if you know Leon Rose, he wants that flexibility. That's why I continue to say that Pacome Dadiet is going to be the player that's going to be traded. Even James L. Edwards has just stated, if the Knicks trade Pacome Dadiet, he's likely the player that's going to get them back the most in a return. And in a return, all they can get back is draft picks. And Pacome, he might net the Knicks 2 future second-round picks. And that's a lot for New York, looking to continue to build this team in the right direction. Now, I know what you're thinking. New York has probably had discussions with teams about a number of players, not only Pacome Dadiet. Maybe that's true. However, James L. Edwards helps to shut down why Pacome Dadiet has to be the player that the Knicks are going to trade. It's not going to be Miles McBride. It's not going to be Tyler Kolek. And it's not going to be Ariel Hukporti. Shout out to James L. Edwards for helping to shut down why Deuce McBride will not be traded. According to him, before I get started, I don't think that New York will move Deuce McBride. I'm just making the rounds on the bench players and looking at the likelihood of a trade, not including Mitchell Robinson or Josh Hart, whoever ends up being the starter between those two. Deuce McBride is New York's best bench player. His numbers dipped a little bit last season, but he dealt with a few injuries. McBride has the best combination of modern offense and defense in one player on the Knicks bench. My guess is New York won't worry about McBride until his next deal, until after this season, which is why I wouldn't put my money on him being dealt this season. But never say never. It would surprise me, but not shock me if Deuce McBride was moved. The Knicks are trying to win a championship. Trading Deuce McBride to open up a roster spot for either Landry Shamet or Malcolm Brogdon seems counterintuitive to that objective. So Deuce McBride, he will not be traded because it does not make sense for this Knicks team. So what about Tyler Kolek or Ariel Hukporti? Nope, it doesn't make sense for those players to get traded either. Tyler Kolek, who is 24 years old, might be the most obvious candidate to be moved from a roster construction standpoint. But in talking to some teams around the league, I'm not sure there is much, if any, value there at this point. Similar to Kolek, Ariel Hukporti is a bit older for a second-year player in today's game. He'll be 24 by the end of this season, and he has already dealt with multiple knee injuries. The center has showed some flashes, good motor and length in his very limited time last year. And it's fair to say former Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau had the most trust in Ariel Hukporti out of all of the young Knicks players. However, in talking to some teams around the NBA, there just doesn't appear to be much, if any, trade value there right now. So let's see here. Let's just go down the list of names that Edwards spoke about. Miles McBride, he's not going to be traded. Too good of a contract, and likely if the Knicks were going to trade him, they're going to trade him in his contract year. That year is not this season. So Deuce, he's off the table. Tyler Kolek, maybe New York would want to trade him, but there is no value there for Kolek. For Ariel Hukporti, the Knicks likely wouldn't trade him. But even if they did want to trade him, there is no value there for Ariel Hukporti in a trade. So it makes no sense to trade Deuce McBride, Tyler Kolek, or Ariel Hukporti. That means there's only one name on the list. Only one other player to look at for the Knicks to get what they want. Make a trade to keep 2 veteran players. It's unfortunately Pacome Dadiet. Now, Pacome Dadiet did make some improvements this offseason, likely with his shooting. That's according to James L. Edwards. However, it's not stopping New York from having conversations with different teams about trading Dadiet. And everybody can understand why now. It's mainly because if New York trades Dadiet, they will get something back. Dadiet actually has value around the league. Now, if you're asking me, if New York is already hesitant to make a trade including Dadiet, then why make a trade anyways? Why not just keep one of these veteran players and then keep Pacome Dadiet, keep all of your young Knicks players, and go into the season with this roster? That makes more sense to me than trading one of your Knicks players, especially if you don't want to do it anyways. Don't make a move that you don't want to make. Don't make trades that you just don't want to make. However, I can understand why the Knicks are on the fence here because they're in win now mode. And when you're in win now mode, you need to make sacrifices to lock in that win now roster. For New York, it's a roster that has Landry Shamet and Malcolm Brogdon on it. Two veterans on it. Unfortunately for Pacome Dadiet, because the Knicks want that, he is going to be the sacrifice that is made. He is going to be traded very soon. And even though the Knicks don't want to make that move, in their heads, in their minds for this season, they have to make that move because making that move gets them a step closer to the NBA Finals. And speaking about NBA Finals, shout out to channel sponsor FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, for giving us these updated odds and this latest information on which team is going to win the NBA Finals this season. According to them, Oklahoma City Thunder is still on top at plus 210. Then you have the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're at plus 700. Then you have the Denver Nuggets at plus 750. Then you have the New York Knicks locked in here at 4th place at plus 1,000. Then the Lakers at plus 1,400. Then the Houston Rockets, they're at plus 1,600. But with these type of odds, it already tells you, it shows you the New York Knicks coming into this season, they're in win now mode for a reason because they're one of the teams expected to win it all, win the NBA Finals. When you have that type of pressure heading into a season, you need to make sure you have the right roster. You need to make sure you have the right amount of veterans. And right now, New York does not believe they have enough veteran players on this team. And that's why they're going to make a trade. And that's why Pacome Dadiet will be traded. I don't want to see any of the young Knick players go. However, New York is trying to win a championship at any means possible. And if it means they have to trade a young Knick player in order for them to get to the finals, to win a championship, to bring it home to New York, then they are going to make that move. Whatever it takes, Leon Rose and this Knicks front office, they are going to do it. But what about you guys? What do you think about these latest reports indicating that the Knicks will trade Pacome Dadiet to keep two veteran players on this team? Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knick fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.